Welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR, coming at you with another week of VR news. And like always, no shortage.
The news.
You're still
Coming to
working,
you with VR news.
you're working on the jingle. I think we'll
Coming
need
to you
to
with VR news.
probably better employing a professional for that.
Welcome
not
to the news.
not to point or poke at you.
I don't know
but
what you're talking about, man.
Might be better leaving that one to the pros. But nonetheless, coming at you with another edition of news this week, and I got a whole notebook full this week. I know last week was like just a handful of things, and we went to walk about mini golf.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of cool stuff this past week, and I'm probably even missing one or two. There was so much good stuff. And one of the ones that stuck out right off the top was the developers of Thief Simulator VR, who ported the flat screen version to VR, 3R games. They announced that Thief Simulator had passed $2.3 million in revenue.
Yay!
Which we loved it. We gave that a great review. We're still waiting for part 2 and 3, which they did a whole kind of like letter to their shareholders. And that was one of the things they said in it is that, the revenue was 2.3 or surpassed.
No debt load.
What's that?
They have zero debt.
Yeah, that was another big thing is that they said they're financially free in the sense that they've paid off all financial obligations for it. So I don't know what that means in terms of publishing, investors,
I love the word financially free. Like, can I put that on an application for a loan?
I don't think they said the words financially free. I believe they said
financially free. Thank you.
I believe they've said that they're clear of all financial obligations.
Yeah,
which pretty much means it's profit now.
Zero debt load is how I took it.
Mm-hmm. And that's huge. And it's not like this is the number one selling game on the Quest store. So it's cool to see that they're hitting 2.3 million. I'd love if we got more. There's no reason we ever will unless somebody leaks some stuff. But I'd love to see what some of these revenue numbers are on some of these more popular games.
I think down the road we definitely will, especially with other companies releasing actually what they, but the estimations are pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And they also said, I didn't realize this was their first game as a studio as well. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're paying your bills and can start sleeping a little better at night, not having to worry and stress. Yeah. I mean, but it's cool because the market's still small and they're still able to make it. So,
and they say that
it's encouraging for a lot of other people as well.
Yeah. And in the rest of the letter, they say that they're, part 2 and 3 are coming. Obviously it says it right in the game. And we've, like I said,
they fed a little more into it. When we first played it, there was that update afterwards where,
with the voice, the voice actor, Vinny, whatever his character name is. I don't know if we call him
hey,
Vinny.
It's Uncle fucking Vinny.
Yeah, we
got more jobs for you.
But what's interesting is they say besides that oh my God, he was a highlight of the game.
Dude, he's so funny.
I think we went through like a couple week phase of having a little bit too much fun with that voice, after we played Thief Simulator.
Well, yeah, how can you not? Well, I mean, I'm sure some people are like, why would you?
Yeah.
But I did the same thing for Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, this was a game that we went so into character while playing, like playing party chat with each other.
Ragnarok, do you think I was, no, I'm a fucking Viking, bro. Mm-hmm. I'm Arwen and all, like I'm really.
I feel like it's so much easier to hit that point in VR games than flat screen too. Like whatever I'm playing in VR, I am that character. Like in Barbaria.
Dude, I don't yell at my TV set when I play Xbox, I mean, maybe sometimes with Grand Theft Auto, I'll maybe say some shit.
Yeah, you're not doing voice acting.
No,
in your flat screen
VR,
games.
Boom. If it's a game that, clearly there's accents involved or there's a character to be made. Yeah, I want to be in character. I heard you mention Barbaria. It's like, yeah, same shit.
So they mentioned that they're getting part 2 and 3 to complete the full port of the game. But then what's interesting is they said they're also adding original DLC to the game or planning on it.
So
both free and paid.
They're going to take it to
its own, because usually ports are one-to-ones. They're going, that to me sounds like you will have some stuff unique to VR in terms of content.
The one-to-one will be the base and then they'll build off of that.
That's at least how I interpret it. And
dude, I'm all for it. Where I really want to see is with the next headset, though. The improvements they'll make on it for that headset more than I'm great. I think it's great that they
Well, they say that they're planning on bringing it to more platforms like PSVR 2. And so to me, that's like, well, when the next headset comes out, they'll
bring it over to that. But
and,
that's where I want to see if it'll shine even better.
And also in the notice, they said, besides working on more content for Thief Simulator, they also have plans to release their own original game as well. So big stuff coming from this studio.
I wonder what it'll be.
I
Like
know.
what genre of gaming, or if they'll stick to the home invasion route.
Dude, what home invasion simulator?
Yeah.
What a great business model. This is their first game, and it got their name out. It got them established. Now they're making a profit off of it.
Dude,
and now they can make their own original content.
And it was a risky game, one could say, to bring over to VR, because essentially the core of the game is you're a thief. You're breaking into homes. People are in their homes, dude.
It's so much fun,
You're going through the window, and the cops come.
And honestly, I think they did a great job with it.
I liked it.
The only problem that we had with it is we ran out of content.
I did everything.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like all the jobs to be done are done. It's like I for the most part, I think nailed all. I'm sure. I think there's some achievements I could still get.
Yeah, but we had hit the point where we're like, nah, we'll save it for when we get back.
Damn, man. So, I was pretty blown away with the whole concept, and then playing it, I was like, this is freaking cool.
So part 2 and part 3 coming, and free
smashing
and paid
toilets,
DLC.
bro.
Oh, I've been waiting to bring that up. Yeah, that was one of my
smashing the hell out of the toilets.
That's probably one of my favorite
you're
podcast
bringing
moments.
Back the memories of the good times, you know.
Well, I say it every time we talk about this. It's just the visual of coming home.
See, the voices coming back too. Talking about it too long.
You got to take a shit right after work. You know, you've been driving 30 minutes home, 40 minutes home, whatever. You finally get through that front door. You know, it's like the closer you get, the more you got to go. You finally get into the bathroom, and your toilet's smashed.
Porcelain everywhere.
Dude, that's worse than getting robbed.
And you know
now you're gonna
somebody's
shit your
laughing
pants.
somewhere. Laughing twice. Once when I broke the shit out of your toilet, and the other when you can't use it. Didn't even leave you a coffee can in there.
So huge props to the developers.
Yeah, kudos to them making some money, and now that if they're in positive cash flow now, it's even better because now they can start spending money that maybe would have been risky to have spent carrying more debt load. So only good things can happen.
Yeah, and huge plans clearly on their radar, and I don't know. I'm excited for the future of them. So I'm excited for the rest of the Thief Simulator's content, including the DLC, but I'm also excited to hear whatever the hell the game they have in mind is. So besides Thief Sim, another app that people love, the other week we talked to Amanda Watson, the creator of Airlink, software that lets you play PC VR games on your headset. But the kind of other most popular one is Virtual Desktop. And they just came out with an update, partnered with Qualcomm to take advantage of the Snapdragon chip that's in headsets like the Quest 2 and Pico. Yeah, so now you're able to do some resolution scaling from inside the app of Virtual Desktop. So you don't need to close the app, go into any Steam settings. You can kind of reduce or increase the resolution.
Quality of life change for PC VR.
Yeah, it allows you, if my understanding, if your PC is getting a little heavy load on it, and you can kind of you can reduce the load of your headset. Reduce the resolution. Yeah, or conversely, I imagine you can also probably up
make
it a
it
little
hot.
bit. Yeah. So
overclock it.
I'm not a heavy PC VR user or anything like that, but
heavy.
Yeah.
We're not heavy.
Yeah,
I'm not even a lightweight.
Yep. But
I'm a PC user
I'm a
and
sober,
a VR user, but
sober.
I haven't married the two.
But that's awesome to see. Virtual Desktop never stops improving, and this is just another example of that. So huge props to Virtual Desktop on what it was another great update. In other news too, Mark Zuckerberg reiterated that the price of Meta's next headset will be quote unquote accessible for lots of people, which it's so vague, but I think
that the 1%.
Well, he went on a podcast 7 months ago and said it's going to be priced between $300 to $500.
Is the Xbox and PlayStation currently priced for most people?
Well,
because that'll give you a gauge, right?
Well, I don't know. To me, it's like it's already been said what the price is going to be. It's going to be between $300 and $500. That seems pretty.
I'm thinking 7.
no way. That's
Yep.
not it. That's not a consumer headset anymore.
Yep.
Maybe they'll have a 700 model.
You get the terabyte for $7.
I could see that, but there's going to be an entry consumer
We'll
model
see.
at the highest price of $499.
Okay.
That's my guess.
No, I could see the 5, but for some reason, every time I see it talked about or anything, and it's my own speculation, I'm like, I might be ready to eat that $600 or $700
Yeah.
bomb.
I'll actually say, while it's possible they would have like a terabyte model for 7, I would be surprised if there's a model sold for more than 500.
The $700 one gives you the little temple massagers too. It'll give you, help you like relax while you're playing.
I think we'll see a kind of like a $399 and a $499 model is my guess. I think they'll go that
$399.
Yeah,
man, I don't know.
For like a 128 or whatever. Which if you buy a
I don't
128
even,
for the
I don't
Quest
even
3,
know if they'll offer 128.
yeah, I don't think I let me
I
bite
think
my
the
let me
current
bite my
bidding.
tongue.
I think the lowest would be 256.
Yeah,
and then maybe a 500.
Yeah,
I mean, the terabyte is just me being selfish and being like, well, that's the one I would buy.
I think I could fill a terabyte,
You
especially
think?
with like
Yeah.
you got to think like the size difference between Quest 1 games and then when the Quest 2 came out, and it's
dude, we're
how big
gonna hit that. And well, look at how big Grid Legends is.
we're gonna have a 100 GB game on the Quest 3 without a doubt, in my opinion.
There's probably a reason why Grand Theft Auto really isn't coming out for the Quest 2, and that's because some people didn't buy, and it's not even going to fit on that.
Yeah, I was biting my tongue as soon as I said 128. I was like, no way, because we're gonna see a 100 GB game. I think if a 128 GB model came out, it would be like buying a 64 GB Quest 2 back in the day.
Filling up the whole headset with
one game. Yeah,
that thing's going to run so hot.
Dude, I fill up my 256. I talk about this all the time. It's like
dude, I got like an actual percentage of like a section of my whole home screen that's all uninstalled games.
Yeah, like
I can't install anymore. It bums me out. Not that, I mean, you still own it. It's there. It just sucks when you get that spontaneous like, oh, I want to play, and I'm like, man, almost every game that's down there is all uninstalled, but it makes sense because
at this point, if we're doing
that much room,
if we're doing a spontaneous, we haven't played a game in a while, and we suddenly decide to play it, we usually have to dedicate 10 minutes to installing.
Oh yeah, dude.
I think it even happened to me with a game that I love, Bocce Time. I don't know why it was uninstalled, but I went to go.
You probably freed up space and disrespected the dev by uninstalling his game.
Sometimes I've had games like updates fail, and then it'll be
uninstalled
uninstalled after.
Yep, 1,000,000%.
So it's possible that's what happened, because I can't see myself uninstalling Bocce Time.
I've never uninstalled Bocce Time because it's not a big
space game. Yeah, that's why
I always look for. All right, I hate to be this way, but who's my biggest? It's like Grid Legends. I uninstalled it.
Yeah, you got to.
I've tried it after their update and was like, eh. My opinion holds. Matter of fact, changing no, fucking with the resolution and making it better than default really screwed with just a lot of pixelation and some rates,
artifacts and stuff like
yeah,
that.
and I was like, you know what? It
was better
at
how
this
it
point,
was.
just leave it alone. It's not a terrible game. I mean,
No,
I
we
think
had
they
fun with it.
really nailed the driving mechanics.
Yeah, we actually had a lot of fun with it, but you got to know what to expect
Yeah,
going into it. It's not going to be a
definitely.
graphically great game.
Yep.
But kind of on that, I guess if we're talking about updates failing and updates and uninstalling and yada yada, there's now a setting that you can turn on in the Quest as part of the next update that's rolling out. I believe it's going to be version 53. It's amazing how quickly they pump out these updates. There's always new features coming. And in this update, you're going to get a setting that you can enable that when you go to shut down games, you'll get an option to update your games before the shutdown. So that's kind of cool. That's better than it trying to update.
There's only one flaw to that.
If your headset's almost dead.
Well, I think most people probably shut their headset off until they get the message saying like use it as a timer, because not everyone. I mean, obviously, some huge percentage of people I know for a fact use the battery backups, but even then,
myself
bleed
included,
that. Yeah, you'll bleed that out too. But
happened
your
to me last night.
your headset's still running low, or you wouldn't have it. So I wouldn't be able to afford the battery if I didn't have my battery backup, and then I'm gonna be like, am I gonna remember to unplug it from the battery backup? In 10 minutes or whatever. So it's a win in one case, but in another case, I
Don't know if you'll always take advantage of it.
know.
No, but it's
No.
better than the old system or what the
Well,
current system is, where
is that going to change though?
because my shit tries to update all the time when I turn it on. It tries to have
Yeah,
every
man.
single update. It still does it.
I can tell instantly when we go into party chat, and it sounds like you're talking through a cellophane bag.
Yeah, because when you're running
man.
game updates,
And we're both running updates.
yeah,
Get the hell out of here. So my question really is going to be: are they going to fix that issue?
they said they did, but it doesn't
Versus-
seem like it did.
Well, it has not rolled out into my face yet.
No,
though.
I still face it.
Although I have
all
the
the time.
current updates, I don't.
Yeah, no, I have that issue all the time.
We'll
So
see.
I'd rather have the option to do it on my terms,
Yeah,
shutting down.
I've always said that in the settings, they should just give you the ability to just go, no, don't ever update anything.
Well, something you brought up too that happens to me is it installs shit that I don't want to reinstall either. It'll be
Correct.
undownloaded. I
Yep.
don't have it downloaded.
You uninstalled it.
And then it's trying to put it in my face and download
It's
it.
filling up your space. Yeah, dude,
I'm like,
a
what
million
in
percent.
the world?
Million
Yeah.
percent.
I
It
didn't-
frustrates me when I get the little notification,
Mm-hmm.
and then I click on it, and I'm like, why? I don't want it installed. I uninstalled it.
Nah, dude, you know what happens to me sometimes too? So
Cancel that bad boy.
I'll go to play a game and I'll open up my like app list and the top, 9, 12 games that show up or apps, none of them are installing. So I don't know anything's installing. And then I go into a game and I get a little bit of frame rate drop. And then I have to scroll. I'm like, oh man, something's
go down the
installing.
menu, yeah.
Well, then I just switch to the like needs update or update, whatever that filter tab is on your, whatever it's actually called. And then I go, all right, who's downloading? Because I know one is, and it's like, so it's not even like it always puts the updating app at the top of your list, so you can easily catch that one's
You
happening.
got to scroll down.
Sometimes I catch it just off of performance. It's a little messed up. But also in this upcoming update, besides, that part, you can also remember a couple months ago we had talked about experimental camera features. Like all the time in these software updates, they'll turn off and turn on experimental features. If you go into your settings mode,
You're in control of them now.
yeah, you can consent. You can turn it on or off, and oftentimes they'll have one there. 2 weeks later, it'll be gone. Then it'll come back like a week later. So it's always worth popping in there. Sometimes you'll catch some cool stuff. But they had rolled out some experimental advanced camera features to let you kind of increase the resolution, increase or change the recording, ratio of it. So instead of being that, square box, you could go kind of YouTube landscape, or you could do more of like the TikTok, skinny top and down. They gave you those customizable settings. You could increase the resolution, and those settings are rolling out from experimental to now they'll just be in everybody's settings by default. You can play with them, which is cool. That means that they've gotten out any glitchiness and they feel comfortable rolling it out live.
They're catering to creation.
Well, that's always been one of the weaker spots of the Quest 2. You can't even go live anymore on
No,
Facebook.
dude, it was actually better back when you could just go, okay, I'll go right to Facebook. I mean, it is what it is.
But that was a little. Remember, we
And
could
then
never
took it
get the
away.
sound to work with Pop
No,
One
but
with
if they
it.
just improved that,
I agree. Yeah, so it's like,
And I'm not 100%. It was with my knowledge now, years later, versus what it was. I don't know if 100% it was the program, if it was really us.
no, I had contacted their support about it,
Okay.
and like I sent them some log files, and they were like, hey, we know about the issue, we want to
Yeah,
investigate
doesn't
it,
work.
but yeah, they were like, we don't really know why it's happening.
We can tell you it doesn't work.
Yeah, but I agree, they should have just kept improving that, like the quote unquote
it was cool.
content creation.
Even if it
features.
was forced to their platform, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just an easier option and a way to do it.
Yeah, I totally think you
Click. There you go.
and especially as they push Facebook gaming and stuff like that, it just would make sense to be able to go live on their platform, on their headset that you own,
Yeah.
that they own. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, so that's cool to see those features kind of roll out to the public. I agree. That's them trying to get a little bit more of that content creator
Yeah.
side.
Let's go.
So that was a pretty cool update to see. we'll do one more little piece of news, and we'll give a shout out to our Patreon people, and we'll take a little ad break, and then we'll be right back with you after that. But the next little piece of news, we mainly talk about Quest 2, but it's at least worth mentioning that the PlayStation VR 2 will soon be available in local retailers, which is definitely a move that should have been the case.
You know what?
I do feel like that there's a half commitment from Sony on their marketing side of this.
They blew it. I mean, I'll just say it. They freaking blew it because they should have had that shit in stores.
Yeah, that part doesn't make sense to me.
It even went on sale to the public. It should have been a campaign. And not for nothing, if you look at their sales, it's like for a company of that magnitude, it's not impressive.
Well, I don't think a lot of people outside of the VR scene have heard about it yet still. And that's weird. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. It's like they had an obligation to do something. And, you would think even like you just said, not everybody's even aware. But
I think that's the biggest issue.
Could have pushed a pretty big media campaign and done something about it.
Definitely. I haven't seen any marketing. Any of their showcases in the last year, they didn't really display anything.
I don't know. I can't think of the word.
It's
a little overconfident to think that if you build it and put your name on it, it's gonna.
I don't know if it's
gonna just dominate, and I don't think so.
I don't know if it's overconfident or half committed. But definitely that seems like the marketing side wasn't there.
Half committed is gonna cost them even worse.
Yeah, because at least in the marketing side, I don't know. It feels weird in that regard, but it's cool to see that finally it's rolling out. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You should have a
hype. After the hype, yeah, let's go. And it's weird.
And I do know a lot of people love the headset. I'm not going to say this isn't a comment about
shitting on it. I'm just saying it company wide.
Marketing wise, promotion of the headset, getting the name, the word.
I haven't
out
heard
about
it's. I can't come to a conclusion one way or another if it's worth the money.
Well, how I feel is if I had a PS5, I would probably have one, but it's not worth getting a PS5 and a headset for.
Still make me ask though, is it actually worth the money? I can ask any Quest user, is it worth the money? And they all say yes. I mean, there's been a few people who are like, I don't play it anymore or whatever.
Or I returned it.
I gave it to my, they'll say they gave it to their brother or their kids, whatever, but it's still getting used. So I just don't feel the same with the.
Yeah. And then it's kind of a two-part question to yours. Is it worth it? The money of example, if you already have it's two different crowds. It's the people who already have a PlayStation. Is it worth it for them to spend the 500, 600, whatever? And then for the people that don't have a PlayStation, is it worth it for them to spend 1,000?
Well, I'll answer that one.
No on the second one. I can say otherwise I would have one.
That is a no. You'd be better off with 2 Quests.
Well, no, actually, I'd say you're better off getting a gaming PC for that, and then you'll have a better access with your Quest.
Yeah. No, I just think it was bad.
Bad marketing.
I saw it coming.
Mm-hmm. And again, this isn't talking about the quality of the headset or anything at all.
Even left one Monday morning news we did where I was actually feeling like I might have been a little harsh with the whole PlayStation and getting involved with thinking they were going to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, this could really blow up in my face. But
and look, I think this
turned out to be right.
I think this applies to Meta too. Now it's like they should learn from this, and I don't think they ever would do this, but they should.
Dude, remember how heavy their campaign was, though?
Yeah, they need to go heavy, though. They need to go heavy again.
Everybody knew the sound of a Quest turning on.
They need to go heavy again.
They hit it. I think they will. There's no way they're just going to rely on. They're not going to do the PlayStation marketing.
No,
for sure.
So Meta does great with their supply chain of having it, like you said, in there a week before. Like it's going to be available to buy on day one on Best Buy, on Amazon, in Target, Walmart. It's always Costco. They always do a great job with their supply chain. There was never headset
doing the commercials of Santa Claus wearing one.
Mm-hmm. So I'm confident in that, and yeah, I don't think that they will.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't think that they will rely
like
on their
or
name
love
value,
them,
but
they know how to market.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
And they know what you want to see and don't want to see. So it makes their marketing campaigns even, truthful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who better to, and just like Google, if Google runs an ad, there's a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't like the ads that show up when you're on Google, it's like, that's on you. You know what I'm saying?
They're paying themselves to run ads on Facebook.
Those ads are meant and designed for you. So
how does it work?
You don't like or you're uncomfortable with.
How does it
What
work
did
when
you do?
Meta runs an ad on Facebook? Do they pay Facebook?
Oh, I'm sure they pay their,
And then it's a little tax write-off? I don't know.
not a write-off, but it's still an expense.
It's
Because people had to do stuff.
an advertising expense on their own
Correct.
platform. And so,
Cost $5 billion. Just
And-
print more Zuckbucks.
and like you're kind of alluding to, it's like they know how to run an ad on their platform, so it's going to reach the
Fine, dude.
target audiences.
Dude, their commercials. I mean, there was nothing really overly fancy about them, but you knew it was an Oculus commercial. There was it's not like you walked away from it going, wow.
This will be their
Was
first.
that aspirin?
But here's the test here's the only test that goes into this. This is their first consumer headset release
Yeah.
with the Meta name.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, it was owned by Facebook before, but Oculus
You
Quest
want
2.
to talk about whether they go back to the...
Do you think that there's any internal discussion of it? I hope so. I think that they
I'm
should
sure
just...
to a degree.
I think that they should... I don't think that there's anything wrong in life in saying we are wrong and we're undoing our mind.
They don't even have to say it. They just do it.
Yeah, but I won't talk any shit if they suddenly were like, yeah, guys, we're going back to Meta. I mean, going back to Oculus for the VR hardware. I'd be like, cool, that's the right move.
I actually wouldn't be upset if they gave it a totally different name for the third one.
Oh, at that point, then you just need to stop.
I don't mind.
Then you're just
Not calling it, not like a full-blown company thing, just like this headset will be known as Serpentine.
No, I don't
don't
think
mind
that's a
that.
good.
Why?
It's bad branding.
Not at all.
Bad branding.
Why is
Inconsistent
that?
branding.
It's worked for Microsoft.
Microsoft actually.
Every time they come out with a console,
Yeah.
it's not named
I'd
the
actually
same
say
thing.
that. Yeah, and I'd actually say that's a bit of an issue
For who?
for the consumer. It's very
Why?
confusing.
Why is that?
People lose track. I know.
We'll get Nintendo. Nintendo did the same thing.
I know people that don't know.
It's worked for them fabulously.
Well, here's
So I'm
the-
just saying I wouldn't be hurt by it.
Nintendo doesn't do that at all. Nintendo.
I don't
creates
need
a
to be
different-
like the Quest
You're
18,
You're confusing two things. though,
Meta
'cause
12.
Nintendo doesn't do that. Nintendo only changes their name when they're releasing a new hardware line. Example: the Quest 3 is going to be a continuation of the Quest line
Mhm.
of hardware.
Yeah.
Just like Nintendo,
Nintendo 64.
the Wii, the Wii U, those are continuations of each other.
All right. I'm just saying I wouldn't be hurt
Nintendo
by
Game Boy, Game Boy Advance. Nintendo always does.
it. As long as it's not a full-blown company trade
Yeah.
name change, I'm
I know
fine
people.
with whatever you want to call it.
I know
As
people
long as I know it's better than the last one.
my age in their 20s that are
Yes.
confused about what the newest Xbox is and which one's the best one to get.
The X.
Yeah, but they don't know. It's very bad branding
Well, how would you know?
because
You got to figure it out. You gotta go read the specs.
yeah, but
You got two choices: the S or the X,
even how do you know that that's the newest one?
because it's the newest ones.
You know that as a Microsoft user. I'm telling you, there's many people that don't know that are very confused by the Microsoft branding
Really?
at this point. 100% Xbox
Well,
is
I've never had an issue with it because you know how I've always figured it out.
because you're an Xbox. You buy every Xbox headset except the newest one.
whatever's new is better than what was.
Yeah, I think if Meta suddenly was like, "Oh, this is a serpentine," I would say that that's a very bad idea. I'd say it's either keep it how it is or go back to
don't care,
Oculus.
as long as we get the next headset,
Mhm.
and I know it'll be marketed. So
Oh, yeah.
it'll be. I would take a quirky name over calling it Meta.
Mhm.
Meta Quest 3. Welcome to Meta Quest 3. It has no ring to it.
Oculus was such a good name. People still call it an Oculus. Let's just go back. Right your wrongs.
Fire back up my Q3.
Right your wrongs.
Q baby. I know you hate that.
Yeah, the Q2.
Q2, Q3.
Talking financials.
I like it.
Um.
I've been using it for quite some time now.
So yeah, I'd say learning lesson to all on the regard of the PlayStation VR 2. I don't know what's going on with Sony in terms of
We can blame really poor marketing.
that's really what it is in promotion, you know,
They should have gave it away with new consoles.
or at least a damn good.
Stick to my guns. That'll be the future of theirs.
Yeah, last time we debated this, and I'll stick to mine, was just a good bundle, half off the headset if you buy it with a console.
Here you go. Free.
Because again, it goes back to that
Please.
conversation we had 5 minutes ago. Is it worth it as a
How much we ever find out how much they manufactured?
like how much it cost them to manufacture?
No. Just in general.
much
How
they
many
made?
units? How many units did
No,
they actually
Sony-
manufacture
Sony
previous to
does-
sale? They're not sharing.
No, they're like Bloomberg will post out or Business Insider will post an article, but it's never accurate. It's always
Yeah,
just
see, that sucks.
Dude,
Because
if I see
that would
business,
be the really interesting thing to know.
are they just like sitting on a bunch of
Well,
them?
that would answer your question whether they were fully committed or
Mm-hmm.
maybe overachieved.
I don't know. I got a lot of questions in regard for it, but we'll take a moment. We'll get a message from our sponsors in just a second. But right before that, I like to give a weekly shout out to our Patreon supporters, which
Yay.
you can join our Patreon by visiting the link in our show notes. That's the episode description. As a reminder, too, I guess I should plug because it's been 30 minutes and I haven't mentioned yet. We are available on YouTube besides all, well-known podcast platforms.
Wow, you gave YouTube first credit.
Come on, man.
Holy moly. You
so
feeling all right?
If you ever want to check out the video version, which we're always talking about, trying to make better in some regard.
We take criticism well.
Yeah.
Anybody who's
feedback.
ever made suggestions, we've at least tried.
Well, I'll be the first person to say, unfortunately, we're not full time at this time, and I probably put a little bit more labor of love into the podcast feed as we're a podcast first.
You think?
And kind of video was a later thing that we started doing. But, it's all part of the progress and we're slowly getting better, I'd say, at the YouTube side as well. So you can find us on YouTube.
Step by step.
We have
day by day.
in our Patreon, we have some different tiers available, including, a tier to just support, a tier for on-air shout-outs, a tier to get your name across the bottom of the video on a rolling ticker every like 10 or so minutes,
The ticker.
the ticker. And then all of them right now, we're giving you access to our Patreon exclusive Discord channel that's in our Discord server. You don't need to pay to get into our Discord. You can also find that link in our show notes.
There's no toll booth.
No, and I'll say our Discord is the best, man. I love our little community that we got going.
As far as all the forms of social media, and of course we are on all of them.
Yep.
Probably ones we don't even know we're on. Discord is definitely the most community involved, and it's been watching like an organism grow because it really every week it expands.
No, it's a very
and I love seeing when new people come in and they're always welcome. I say it all the time. You're always welcome with open arms. It's like it's not like one or two people. And I've gone into popular Discords and you get a couple waves, right? You go into ours
with like 210 people in there in total.
You're gonna get like within 24 hours. There's probably gonna be 10 different waves that came at you.
Minimum,
crazy.
I'd say 6 on the
and
small
that's just
side.
the welcome wave thing. And then people are already like tagging you and stuff because they want to, hey, what platform you playing on? What games you playing? Or every weekend, what are people doing this weekend? The game meetups are constant. The game meetups are so frequent that when you and I slide into sometimes to go into certain games, we don't use our go-to passwords because we don't know if anybody's going to try to just start up a game and jump into it and use that password. So we've had to alter our own passwords to play outside of any game meetups. It cracks me up.
Yeah, and again, when I say it every week, it's very vibrant, welcoming, and non-toxic community. We never really we never have any issues. No one ever beefs. It's just cool VR talk, and sometimes just some life talk. It's definitely a cool place.
There's a channel for everything going on.
Yeah, and besides just being a really cool place to hang out and talk VR, we also do giveaways on there. Every week we've been giving away game keys. Could be an App Lab game. We've given away a key for Demio before.
We've got members that will give away game keys.
Yep.
For no other reason than to just be cool.
Yeah. So besides some just some cool community vibes, you can also join for some giveaways. So go join.
And 20% discounts off of pretty much any game you ever want to buy. Someone's got a
referral code.
Code for it.
Yeah, that's a good point too. So yeah, definitely go check that out. Check out our Patreon. The links for that are in our show notes. And we'll give a shout out real quick to our Patreon supporters.
Please do.
All right. So our Patreon members on our on-air shout out tier and our video love tier, we have Jake, we have Amelia, we have Crispy, and we have Shoes. So thank you. We have some other people on the just support in tier.
That would choose to remain anonymous.
Yeah, and if you ever want to go on the on-air tier or the video ticker tier and you want us to put something else besides your name, shout out your dog, your cat, just Yeah, as long as it's appropriate, I'll do it. Don't try to trick me with any of those dumb.
Even if it's inappropriate, I'll do it.
If I see Mike Hawk, I'm not saying it. I'll tell you.
Mike Hunt. I'll read anything. I have no shame.
I always love those
Someone
videos.
paid for it, dude. I'll say as long as it's not something that'll get me canceled.
You ever see those videos of
it.
like the newscaster getting caught, getting tricked by it or something like that? Oh my God, those are some of my favorite videos. Yeah, we have other members on the Patreon, as well, and definitely go check out the link for that. And we'll be back with you in just a moment after these message from our sponsors. This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design, the leader in MetaQuest and VR accessories. And now you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast. The MetaQuest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever feel things could be a bit more comfortable? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and more, including my two personal favorites, the top version controller grips with added weight and an extended handle, and the Kiwi upgraded Elite strap. Let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. Don't be the guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes to prepare yourself today. After visiting the link in our show notes, make sure to use the promo code RuffTalkVR at checkout, all one word, to take full advantage of your savings. And make sure to click the link in our show notes so the podcast gets credit and you help support us. Remember, whatever you need, Kiwi has you covered.
This episode of Ruff Talk VR is sponsored by BetterHelp. Virtual reality gaming is amazing, but let's not forget to take care of our mental health in the real world too. BetterHelp is the world's largest online counseling platform, offering professional, affordable, and convenient therapy. Their licensed therapists specialize in everything from depression and anxiety to relationship issues and stress management. So, if you've been struggling to balance your love for MetaQuest VR gaming with life's challenges, BetterHelp is here to support you. They'll match you with the perfect counselor, tailored to your specific needs. And with the convenience of video, phone, or even live chat sessions, you can get the help you need from the comfort of your own home. As a Ruff Talk VR listener, you get a special offer of 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. Just visit betterhelp.com/RuffTalkVR. That's betterhelp.com/RuffTalkVR and start taking charge of your mental health today.
And we are back. So, in news of games coming soon,
Yes.
A game that was popular on on PC VR, Propagation. It's like a horror, thriller game. Horror.
What?
Propagation.
You call me a
VR.
whore?
They're coming out with a sequel on the Quest that's coming out on May 4th on Star Wars Day.
Dun, 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 dun.
Which also, I guess, just to mention, Quest is doing a pretty cool sale for May 4th. Yeah, a lot of their Star Wars games are on sale, including, I saw up to 50%. I don't know which one's 50%, but for somebody like, if you haven't picked up, Tales from Galaxy's Edge or Vader Immortal yet, episode 1, 2, and 3.
Even the pinball.
Yeah, now's the time. I mean, on sale, why not? But nonetheless, so Propagation Paradise Hotel coming out May 4th on Star Wars Day. It's
Star Wars Day.
Come on, man.
Dude,
May the
what
4th
kind of
be
world
with
we
you.
fucking live in? We got Star Wars Day.
I can't believe how
got
long
E.T. Day, and I got Star Wars Day. I got Close Encounters Day.
I can't believe
Bigfoot
it took
Day.
decades for somebody to realize May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Genius. It's so obvious. It's so right in your face.
Yeah.
So props to whoever figured that one out. But this is
My
a
kid
game.
was born on Star Wars Day. I'm excited.
Well, the description for this game says you're trapped inside Paradise Hotel where a strange illness has turned people into savage creatures. You're desperate to find your sister. Play as Emily Diaz, explore dark surroundings, gather resources, and survive terrifying encounters. It says this intense solo VR survival horror game with great storytelling will get your adrenaline pumping. So this is one, buy a new pair of undies.
I'm waiting for one that comes out and says, look, all it says about the game is you will shit your pants.
I want one.
Period. Nothing else. Not even a clip of gameplay footage.
I want one of these in co-op so
But
bad.
back it up.
I want one of these co-op. Man. To run these with a group, that sounds like the fun.
It doesn't seem as scary
I agree.
if you're running it with friends
That's why I want to do it.
versus
That's why,
being scared to
I'm
death.
a little wuss.
Okay.
That's why I want to do it. Dude, this game sounds like it'll be intense. It looks intense. So it comes out May 4th. If you like horror games, if you like to shit your pants, this looks like one of them that'll do it.
I'm down.
I know you are. You've been waiting for one of
I
these.
want some horse. Some horror. You want horse?
So
I want horse.
I guess
the game.
Just a couple more quick things to run over. A game that we love, Peaky Blinders.
Peaky fucking Blinders, mate.
You know, one of the only criticisms that exists with the game is, I guess, content amount.
No, I mean, we had issues with, in our review, not issues, but we were openly disclosed that
That's
the
probably
replayability is going to...
not be there.
We may have even ixnayed that category.
I believe so, because it was kind of a story-based game, but
now it kind of changes that.
Well, we'll see. I'll say it changes it once this whole roadmap is out, because they released a roadmap with updates planned for April 27th, May 18th, June 22nd, July 20th, and August 24th. So they got
day after my birthday.
They got the next
so close.
They got the next couple months, lined up, and already what came out was like a new shooting range with target practice that has like high scores and stuff like that.
And you can win a Peaky Blinder cap.
Yes, they're doing kind of a contest with it right now. So go check out their social media for more details on that. But there's also some quality of life and game improvement updates. But then coming May 18th is a new shooting gallery, new weapons, new combat challenges. June 22nd, we're getting new combat missions, two new combat missions, new weapon challenges, new item skins. July 20th, you're getting more combat missions. A little vague, but it says explore a fan favorite environment, spelt with the British spelling of favorite as well.
Of course.
As we heard talking with Russ Harding, definitely from the UK, this team, new weapon challenges, customizable item skins. And then August 24th, you're getting new player customization options, new weapon challenges, and ... a brand new way to play.
Yeah, that one, when I read
I'm guessing flat screen port is what I'm guessing. That was my first.
I was taking it as something currently in the game that we're playing, but a new way to play it. I don't know.
Yeah, my brain went to like, all right, you'll be able to play it on PlayStation
I'm taking the
5.
selfish route.
I hope it's more VR content. That's what I hope.
Yeah, dude. Anything to get you back into it to play it, especially if they're going to add new characters or whatever.
New combat missions, new shooting galleries, player customization. You don't even see what your guy looks like. You never see what they look like. But now you
what you do see is pretty cool.
The hands,
yeah. It's
the gloves.
Dude, you walk with confidence.
Yeah, you're a Peaky fucking Blinder.
Peaky fucking Blinder. Get the fuck out of my way.
I love how they.
I wish it was more interactable so you could like smash locals and shit, but I'm thinking that's not cool.
Yeah. Whatever. We couldn't grab the titties. Remember that? So I doubt they'll let you backhand somebody.
I couldn't grab the breasts of the Chinese lady that was.
Yeah, but I totally think that would be such a great little gem of the game if you could just walk down the street and just pop somebody across the face. And it's not that it create a combat, but they just go, hey, and they get slapped or something. That would be hilarious.
Little hint of Grand Theft Auto type actions.
Smoking your cigarette, walking down the street, which I had a cigarette in my mouth.
Blowing the smoke in people's faces, dude. You know who the fuck I am, mate.
You ready?
I'm Peaky fucking Blinder. I'll fucking shoot you in the face right now.
You're sitting there, you have the cigarette.
Yeah.
Right across the face,
Well, dude, oh man,
we get way too into character.
Well, no, I'm
games.
thinking in the very beginning, and fuck it if it's a spoiler at this point, where you get to bash you don't have to.
Dude, they've been posting about it on their social media so much.
That's why I was like, it's not.
They've been posting this clip everywhere.
But you can bash somebody with a hammer, and it's like I was hitting that motherfucker way after he was dead.
Yeah, I even commented on one of their posts. I was like, am I the only one that hit it like 100 times after he died? I heard him stop reacting, and I was like,
listen, man, I was told this is what I got to do. I'm gonna let it be known that when they take the hood off his freaking face, it's gonna look like ground beef. Don't fuck with me, mate. Peaky fucking Blinder.
Yeah, dude, I love being in party chat for these
badass
modes.
And someone in our Discord was saying they know where it was filmed. So in theory, if you're in our Discord or joined our Discord, you could actually figure out where that really. I would love to go there, unless I was advised otherwise. But when I went, I didn't hear of any places in England not to go. When I went, like it would be in America per se, where you could every city somebody would be able to be like, it's safe, but just don't go here because the cops aren't even going to save you. You know, I mean, every city's got that section, unlike other countries where no, whole shit. Look at Japan, whole shit's safe. Do whatever you want. Just be cool. Don't spit. You know, don't jaywalk.
So cool stuff for Peaky Blinders.
Yeah,
you know,
love me Peaky Blinders.
Couple months worth of content coming out, and
you can win a fucking cap, dude.
Yeah, could definitely go check out their social media for more info on that.
They need to give away a suit.
Yeah,
and gloves.
The whole content.
Yeah,
the whole outfit.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree.
I'd wear it because the ones they wore at PAX, they were wearing the 2 period date clothing. We'll say, and that's pretty. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
just adds to the whole
element of it. Yeah. I agree. So, nonetheless, so other cool news.
Yes.
End Dreams, one of the bigger games and publisher and developer in VR.
Yeah.
Much like a Vertigo Games or Fast Travel does, where sometimes they're the publisher, sometimes they're the publisher and the developer.
They do what they want.
Yeah. They're kind of gangsters.
They know what they're doing.
They've, Little Cities we absolutely loved, which I've seen updates still come out with it. End Dreams is also behind the upcoming Ghostbusters game, so they have big stuff in the works. That that they got a lot of people working hard, and they confirmed with Upload VR that they have over 200 people in their studio as employees right now, which has to make them one of the biggest, if not the biggest, VR studio.
They're one of the top 5, I think.
Yeah, they're in that AAA list
for size. But you always see them hiring too, always, and just like Resolution Games, not to beat a dead horse because it's no secret, Resolution's beast, but
it's going to be good if it comes from End Dreams.
They seem to Resolution seems to also always be hiring something. So these companies are just growing and growing, and they're not scared to grow, which is even better.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see. I'd include End Dreams in that list when we talk about like who
AAA?
we consider, AAA and VR. Vertigo, Resolution.
Yes,
End Dreams is in there too.
You bet your ass.
200 people, dude, for VR is huge.
It just means more. It's awesome when these studios grow too, because the content becomes better and better. And I don't have any, Golf Plus, another great example of a growing studio that definitely is not indie studio. You can fuck off with that. These are the AAA studios. Period.
I'm still so excited for.
Which is cool because a year and a half ago, you couldn't say that. It was like, I don't think there was one that. I mean, at the time, maybe Pop One was probably, and Red Matter were probably your best examples.
2 years ago or a year ago, let's say a year ago, if a game like Thief, it would have been revolutionary to hear a game like Thief Simulator hitting 2 million in revenue. But it was kind of just casual news last week.
Yeah.
If you had...
Dude, some of the numbers are huge for other ones.
I had said this the other week, too. It's like if you had gone on social media or started making claims before the Quest 2 was sold that it was going to sell in its lifetime in the next 2 years, not even in its whole lifetime, in the next 2 years, it's going to sell 20 million units, people would have told you to put down the crack pipe.
Yeah.
They would have been looked at as such a fanboy, delusional, but that's the reality now. It's like...
And only growing.
Yeah, the benchmarks have been passed, and they just keep getting set further and further, and VR just keeps hitting it.
The game is constantly changing. And I just love seeing these studios grow. Dude, every time we talk to a developer that we haven't talked to in a year, and we always ask, how big's your studio? I don't have any examples of them shrinking.
No.
Well, we downsized, actually.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we actually, we're now up to 20, which in VR that's a decent sized freaking studio.
And what these
200?
Come on, man. It's growing. And what these VR haters need to understand, the people who sit there and go, oh, VR is dead, it'll never be a niche, whatever. Dude.
No, it's past that.
To look at it like this, 10-year-olds right now are growing up with VR casually. They look at VR as just another gaming system,
Gorilla
just
tag,
another
baby.
but like that type of stuff,
Yeah.
just another piece of technology. It's nothing niche. It's nothing revolutionary to it. Like to us, when especially when you were 10, I don't mean that negatively, but even when I was 10, uh, the thought of there being standalone VR was like, it didn't even exist. It wasn't
Well, now
possible
your
in my brain.
little pea brain can't
Even
figure
start to
that
imagine,
out.
no,
No.
not at 10, but to 10-year-olds right now, they're growing up with that as casual, just another piece of tech.
I had Atari when I was 10, so there was no other.
And
This was the best.
and these people that are 10, these kids, they're not that far away from being paying consumers. What I'm getting at is like the seeds have been planted and it's not going anywhere. The next generation of consumers is growing up
Well-
with VR being a casual thing that they're going to purchase and use.
VR has been around for, over 20 years?
Yeah, just off and on,
But
70s,
it's like,
80s.
this is the first time that it's really grabbed hook, and
Mm-hmm.
and all that credit goes to the world as standalone. It's like, because it's not an elitist. And I'm not saying if you own other headsets, but it's an expensive move
It's not a
versus,
high cost of entry. Doesn't exist. It's a low cost of entry, I mean.
correct for you to actually get to. And yeah, okay, maybe you sacrifice a little in the graphics, and but if you're not able to afford these high end pieces of equipment to get the maximum experience out, then it's perfect. It really is.
Yeah, so it's like if you're
It's been a game changer for me.
if you're a fully grown ass adult and you're sitting there hating on VR, saying it's a fad, it's gonna die, whatever, don't worry, because the next up and coming consumer is already sold on it, and it's established.
Yeah. I'm seeing less of the.
People try to say it's dead, and
Yeah, I see a lot of people who own headsets say it. And it's
So-
like, you're
so
just
shut
being
the fuck
silly.
up. Zuckerberg even had to come out in
People
an
do it
investor
for
statement
comments.
and say like we're not shifting because all this
No,
articles are
people do
coming
it
out.
for clicks and comments. That's
Yeah,
all.
they're
It's like trolling.
They're like Facebook or Meta's shifting away from VR gaming and their commitment to the metaverse, quote unquote. The fucking metaverse stuff is annoying with bad tech articles, but nonetheless. And then Zuckerberg had to come out and be like, "We're not shifting our focus at all. We've been spending a lot of money on AI for a while because Then there was articles on like Variety.com or whatever, and they're saying like, Zuckerberg." His new love relationship is AI. It's like, dude, they've been spending money in AI for like a decade. So he had to come out and be like, no, we're still committed to VR. That's not going anywhere. And it's like, yeah, what else is new? The earth is round. The sun is
It's a
hot.
non-argument.
Water gets you wet. What else do we want to talk about today? You need oxygen to breathe. Anything else we want to go over?
Well, I think everything is debatable in today's day and age.
Yeah.
So all those things you just posed, one would argue, no, water does not get you wet.
I commented, somebody shared that and I commented on it in a Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I argue on social media a bunch, but they just posted that and I said, the earth is round. I said, in other news, the earth is round. And they started debating me on it. And I said, I'm just not even going to respond to this.
Yeah, like I said,
all I
everything
wrote-
is open to interpretation.
2 different people started arguing with each other about it. And I was like,
I'm
people
out.
will argue. All I wrote is people will argue with anything. I
Yep.
was just saying it was obvious. My goodness. So yes, you are correct. There's probably going to be people who tell me all those things are false. So the last little piece of news, Ruins Magnus, a game that we haven't reviewed, but we did interview the community manager for it. It's a VR JRPG. So if you like anime, you like JRPGs, it's definitely up your alley. It's kind of a hit in that old school direction, They just did an update with an English voiceover now. Because before it was all English subtitles with
Yeah.
Japanese voiceover.
Which actually was kind of cool.
It fit the theme.
Yeah,
now,
it was kind of cool.
Now you'll be able to I imagine you'll be able to do either the Japanese or the English. I can't see why they would just remove one. Usually those things are in the options.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's an English voiceover, and then it says that they've remixed some of the late game dungeons to kind of add some more replayability. So cool stuff. And I remember when we talked to Will, the community manager.
Mm-hmm.
Geez, I don't even want to speculate of how long ago that was now. Time goes very fast with every week there being new VR news, new games to review. I know it was late 2022 in some regard. But yeah, he had talked that the English voiceover was coming. So it's cool to see, that the game's still getting updates, still getting worked on, still new stuff coming. So awesome to see.
No, that's wicked cool.
Yeah. And that about concludes it on VR news as well. I guess one little thing I'll shout out. I saw a funny little video that somebody made a Chat GBT mod for Skyrim VR to like upload Chat GBT into some of the NPCs in Skyrim VR, and it's a pretty funny video. That's definitely worth a watch. It's rough. You can hear like some robotic voice, some like latency in responses.
Well,
but
it's a start, you know.
Exactly. I think that's the future of NPC interactions, where you can walk up to an NPC and say, "Hey, where's this character? Where do I find this place?" And they can go, or "Hey, what's your backstory?" And then instead of being pre-selected options, you can genuinely ask for more. And theoretically, as long as it has a preset rules that it's following, it shouldn't contradict itself. It shouldn't.
Well, even better than that, you could set it to never repeat itself ever. Play it 1 billion times, and it'll always give 1 billion different whole life scenarios.
Well, even when you go on to
sky's the limit, really.
You go onto ChatGPT, you generate an answer. You can either say, "Hey, write that to me again," or there's just a regenerate answer prompt, and it's slightly different wording every single time. Even if it's the same answer, it's written differently. So it's clearly something that the system's able to do.
I like the AI modding, like patrolling for people being inappropriate.
Oh, like the mod talk that we were talking about last week? Yeah.
Mod bot.
It's but I think for NPC interaction, this is going to be...
And hackers, too. Imagine turning that thing loose in like Call of Duty and all that.
Half the player base is gone.
Yep, good chink. Oh, dude, I love when you see those companies do mass deletions of accounts.
Everybody bitches.
I got a piece of news.
What?
Freaking Swordsman VR announced that they're going to do ranged weapon attacks.
Hell yeah.
Coming soon.
Hell yeah.
Dude, you know what?
Hell yeah.
We talked about them last week. Might as well talk about them again this week. But
they should be on the official Quest store.
The fuck?
Hell yeah.
They're still, ranged attacks.
Still putting out updates. So this isn't even like that they're giving up and they're like, "Oh, we didn't." Dude, they're top selling on PlayStation VR. One of the most popular App Lab games. Why isn't it on the official Quest store? In fact, I'd say Meta's shooting themselves in the foot because they get cut of their store sales.
Dude, it's beyond the point of like...
What the fuck?
I don't know. But regardless...
Yes, they're adding ranged combat. I saw that.
To Swordsman VR.
And it looks smooth.
So
I'm excited. In the time since then,
why wouldn't it be smooth?
They've added disarming, neck breaks. They've added melee combat back. They've added new bosses, new weapons, new little hidden gems, new features. Now ranged combat.
If I worked for Meta in that whole, like, hey, you're part of that team that finds games, it's like this would have been a no-brainer a long time ago.
If I could...
Like, if each person, and for all we know, that's how it is. You know, like, people pick their shit they think should be there, and then they... But I would fight on that one.
If I was given free reign to, like...
Pick a game today.
Pick a game or try to do some publishing for Meta, I would go Swordsman VR needs to be on the official store.
Yeah.
Let's get Monopoly. Let's get some other major board games, and let's get Civilization VR. We're gonna get store sales. I promise you. We get all these on the store. We're getting fucking sales.
Atlas is not on the store, is it?
Atlas is not either. Nope. Atlas should be on the store as well. We just had people hop into that from our Discord over the weekend. Those two they will sell on the Quest store. Look at a game like Red Matter. Look at I Expect You to Die. People love these story-based puzzle games. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Swordsman VR, Atlas Mystery, Monopoly, Civilization. All those should be on the official Quest store. And Monopoly and Civilization don't exist in VR, but they should. Like that, there should be
a huge list of what doesn't exist but should.
Because Hasbro has such a.
But what exists? You could get the licensing for Monopoly. They've sold it 1 million times over.
They make Monopoly for the phone.
Or do what everybody else does and call it like Punopoly.
Dude, how many officially licensed Monopoly apps are there for the iPhone?
I want the game of life.
The game of life. Yeah. Oh, I think Meta should be in talks with
Imagine
Hasbro.
Playing with other like strangers too.
Yeah.
As far as like multiplayer, like you don't even have to play with your friends.
Hasbro owns all of these. You just need a Hasbro partnership.
It's crazy.
And just start with Monopoly, use it as a test, and if things go well, then negotiate more games. It's a no-brainer. They're going to sell. Are they going to be the number one top seller?
Who knows?
I think they will
Don't
be
really
for social games. I don't expect it to beat out Beat Saber and stuff, but your store is going to make a lot of money off of these games. Dude, some like
It'll happen.
if
Other than, I mean, and I know the answer is, hey, you can use other programs and make your own board games.
yeah,
But I don't want to make a game that's already been made.
Go back to the day that we bought our
buy that
headsets.
damn game.
If we had saw Monopoly and Game of Life on there, when we're looking for social VR games to play together.
Well, family friendly too. I mean, shit. You can.
Well, and you go back to like what clicks in VR and what gets really popular. It's these social VR experiences. You go to like some of the most heartwarming stories that people love to push and you hear about all the time. It's like long distance friends and families meeting up in VR. That creates some of the most replayability in VR and like most engaged returning users. And experiences like board games are a no-brainer in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand it. I'll say it every week till it happens. Swordsman VR as well. Atlas Mystery. What are we doing? But nonetheless, thank you for bringing that up. I would have felt really bad.
That was ever since I read that they were doing it, which is only like what 24 hours ago.
Well, you love ranged in VR. Anytime there's like a classist or
because
like
it changes the whole combat dynamics. So
I've noticed
I pick always the range attack.
And I always go sword, and we do a great job with it. Anytime that a game has those, like remember Zenith? I went the sword class. You went the range class. Yeah, and you've always done good bow and arrow in VR as well.
Well, sometimes you can get a shitload off before. I mean,
that's the one class I wish existed in Into the Radius, man. Not Into the Radius. Oh my God, how am I? The Light Brigade.
Yeah,
the roguelite one.
I agree.
Bow and arrow and that one would have been great.
I haven't checked it in a long time, so I'd
maybe
hate
I'm
to find
biting
out.
my tongue. Yeah. But
what are you talking about? We released that a month ago.
Yeah, but nonetheless, I think that about. You got anything else to whip out of the back pocket suddenly? Anything that was great? So
no.
Thank you for bringing.
I actually do think there was, but
there probably is. Yeah, we can talk about it Wednesday.
That one just was burned in my brain because I'm like, don't forget it. Don't forget it.
So stay tuned for Wednesday's episode with a review of The Last Worker.
The Last Worker,
a game that's available flat screen and in VR. I haven't experienced the flat screen version. My first introduction into this game was the VR. Version. But I definitely, it has everything, all things about it. You can go, this game definitely works better VR. You know, it just feels, it has that
design.
VR feel.
Yeah, definitely.
So stay tuned for that. You know, like I said, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, subscribe on YouTube as well, on whatever podcast platform you listen to. Go check out our Patreon, go join our Discord, you know, giveaways, vibrant community, and stay tuned for Wednesday. Ciao, ciao.